All right, what an interesting conversation that was. So next up, we have a fireside chat with the CEO and co-founder of Dapper Labs. His name is Roham, and he will be chatting with Devin from Hashgraph, and they'll be chatting about what makes digital collectibles interesting, the future of intellectual property on-chain, and they will be answering the age-old question that dates back to 2020. How do you scale an NFT project to success? So please welcome Devin and Roham to the stage. You got it. Good luck.
Hello. How's it going?
Going amazing. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for coming to HederaCon 2025.
Good to be here.
Really a pleasure talking with you today, Roham. You want to give a quick intro to everybody here?
Yeah, hey everybody. My name is Roham Gharegozlou. I'm founder and CEO of Dapper Labs. I'm also a board member of the Flow Foundation, which is the layer one that most of our products run on. Dapper Labs, you might be familiar with us because we've been in consumer crypto since the very beginning. The mission across our whole team has always been, how do you build products everybody can use that drive adoption of crypto? We started by writing the first non-fungible token standard, ERC 721 on Ethereum. We built CryptoKitties, which was one of the first crypto games that kind of used the technology to kind of build a consumer experience. We also work with some big brands, so NBA Top Shot since 2020, NFL All Day since 2021, and our most recent partner is Disney, and we have a product called Disney Pinnacle. It's still technically in private early access, but if you download it off the App Store, you'll get invited today off a North American IP. So excited to be here.
Yeah, I've been a fan of the NBA Top Shot for a while. I think it's so cool. And you mentioned consumer crypto, which I think is a really good way of talking about this. How have you seen this space sort of evolve since Dapper Labs has been launched? And what's like that next wave of growth that you also see in the space?
Yeah, I mean, when we created the company, it was all about, CryptoKitties was one of the first NFTs before us. It was kind of CryptoPunks and a few other smaller projects. I think now you've sort of seen a green light of, consumer crypto can go beyond NFTs. For many years, we were sort of scared of the kinds of products we were building and making sure that we're, regulatory compliant, making sure that we're doing everything from a sort of the correct standpoint, but there wasn't a lot of clarity. Whereas today, with the new administration, David Sachs saying things like, hey, meme coins are collectibles, I think that's expanded the definition of what a company like ours that's trying to build for the mainstream with top-tier brands can actually consider as part of its portfolio. And so I'm really excited about what kinds of products we can build using fungible tokens as well as non-fungible tokens, and creating a mix between the experiences that we're providing to customers, bringing in a little bit of extra speculative dynamics, but still focused on utility, sustainability, and ease of use.
Yeah, and you were touching a little bit on the big brands that you work with and sort of the things that you've overcome. Could you touch a little bit more on those kind of challenges that you face when it comes to working with big brands and different IPs? And what do you see in the future that kind of makes that sort of relationship easier in convincing big brands to get in the space?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. When we started on all of this, it took us over a year to get the NBA comfortable with the concept of issuing digital collectibles. And NBA Top Shot was arguably the first mainstream digital collectible, whereas today, digital collectibles are a category in how they view the world, just like they have physical collectibles. And you have sports conferences with multiple panels on the evolution of digital collectibles, et cetera. And so the conversation has changed from, hey, should it exist, to how can we add real value to the customer, do something that we couldn't do in the physical world, integrate it deeply into our fan experience. So with NBA, we just came from NBA All-Star. Every single person that went to NBA Crossover got access to a free NBA Top Shot pack. Now, whether they figured out, okay, what is it, what do I do with it, that's a different story, but we're really trying to work on integrating these products. That's the next challenge, integrating these products deeply into the fan experience. About 10% of NFL games, you got an email from Ticketmaster that gave you a digital collectible, a sort of NFL highlight from that same game. People thought that was really, really cool. Next year, we hope it's to expand it to everybody. And this year, we're trying to get it across the NBA as well. And then things like Disney, same thing. Bring the technology bring the products where the people are. So you're not thinking about it as blockchain. They don't think about it as NFTs. It's just, hey, I collect physical things. I collect physical pins. I'm collecting digital pins. I'm collecting physical cards. I'm collecting digital cards. But the digital cards give me things that I couldn't get from physical cards, such as access into special experiences, access into money can't buy experiences, recognition from the teams, players, and the league. On like, hey, if this is my top fan, Matthias Buzelis, one of the participants in the dunk contest, took their top fan and their kid onto the court, took photos, etc. Just give them an experience that they will never forget. And that those kinds of things, I think, open up the perception of, hey, why do I want this stuff? And also the kinds of people that we get involved aren't just in it for the money; they're in it for kind of the long-term, deepening of their fandom.
Yeah, absolutely. Like to kind of follow up on that, how, I guess I'm curious of kind of the breakthrough thing, which I think you talked about a little bit on these things that sort of enable a person to realize they can get these experiences without realizing that it's built on a blockchain or built on Web3. What other types of sort of breakthrough moments do you think are ahead for this audience in regards to working with or following projects on Dapper Labs?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell a quick story. We're at D23, which is the largest Disney fan conference, 60,000 plus Disney fans, and we had a big booth there right across from the physical pin booth where everyone was standing in line to collect, their free gifts and buy collectible things. Literally, people would get to the front of the line, they would say, in the beginning of the weekend, they would say things like, these are digital. Oh, these aren't NFTs, are they? Yeah. And they're sort of got that mindset of, NFTs are bad or whatever it might be. By the end of the weekend, the guy was flipping through his completed sets on Pinnacle, saying, oh my God, this is so cool, and my wife loves it because I don't have big bags of metal pins that I'm coming home with every day. And I love it because I'm at home in my hotel room trading pins with people across the world. So that really settled it from that same guy that in the beginning of the weekend was sort of turning up his nose of like, these aren't NFTs. Are they? And so I think that breakthrough moment is just for each person. It's obviously different, but it becomes a part of their daily lives. I think that for us as a sort of industry, the technology behind crypto can create is a technology ownership, sure, but it can also do a lot more stuff. And at the end of the day, the fact that these are open digital assets rather than behind the server means that developers can build things on top of the assets that already exist. And so I think, and I've always thought, that the breakthrough moment for crypto becomes when you sort of see that inflection point with composability of developers building technology that people can bring their assets to and flipping that relationship between sort of, I have an application and I own stuff in the applications. No, I own stuff and people build applications for my stuff, where I have data and I take my data into different digital products rather than I have digital products and my data lives inside those digital products. That I think is sort of the next big kind of industry-wide breakthrough, because right now we're just, in terms of like, we think about evolution of the internet, we're still talking about just tokens. We're talking about individual top shots, we're talking about, meme coin, whatever. I do think meme coins, by the way, they're not popular, but I think they're a huge step forward in terms of like the liquidity and the sort of, they move a lot of the speculative energy that was in NFTs last cycle into a kind of format that's maybe better suited for them. And so I think you'll see products like ours try to use both fungible and non-fungible tokens in a way that helps, bring liquidity to the low end, as well as kind of make things a little more accessible for sort of people who consider themselves investors rather than gamers, players, or fans.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think the accessibility piece is super important, and also like maintaining those people once they get into your ecosystem.
Yeah,
so like, what kind of or go ahead.
No.
Like, what kind of advice do you have for a person looking to build to like attract that long-term value of that audience?
I mean, I would say what we did and what we try to do is like go deep rather than going wide. Dapper, when we hit a growth spurt around NBA Top Shot, we went crazy, signing up different IP partners, launching new products. And I think what we realized is, hey, we have to go really deep with our products and with our partners. First, help them understand the value of Web3 beyond just this is a check that you get in the mail every few months, but then try to like integrate make these products matter to the fans in a deep way. And so I already mentioned in terms of NBA and NFL, we're really trying to both reward top fans of the sport. Like you do stuff in that ecosystem, you get rewarded in our ecosystem. But then if you do stuff in our ecosystem, you get recognized in that ecosystem. And so reward coming this way, recognition going the other way. And again, kind of bringing those things together. Because if you talk to people in our ecosystem who've spent $500,000, $1 million on a digital collectible, they say, you know what I wish? I wish that the NBA and NFL would sort of look at my profile, see that I own this stuff, because in the physical world, no one can verify that I own this stuff. Whereas here, anyone can see, and I can see my fellow collectors get so impressed. But why can't I get recognized by my favorite team, by my favorite player, by the league? And on the other hand, the league is interested in this technology as a whole because it brings openness to their data system where they've got different partners, Ticketmaster, Fanatics, us, EA, whatever it is. And if they could use Web3 as a way to sort of get more directly integrated with their customer base, so it ends up, hey, my customer is doing stuff in all of these different products, but they're my customer. And the concept of an NFT, that's why they gave us their video rights. They had never given video rights the way they gave to Dapper Labs. We have exclusive both NBA and NFL, but that to a sort of game company, because if a game company sells a fan an asset, that asset sits inside that game.
Right.
But if we sell a fan that asset, asset sits inside the fan's wallet. So it's just like, hey, we're just a jersey manufacturer making a licensed jersey, giving it to a fan. The fan can do whatever they want with it. And I think that's been very important. So education, trying to get the partners to sort of think bigger than the NFT or what NFT sort of started as, which was selling stuff to crypto people, and honestly, especially with the change in the administration and the openness that, hey, crypto is a legitimate technology that America is going to be a market leader in. We've seen a market shift across even the most conservative people in our most conservative partners saying, hey, let's do something here, and let's do something that kind of positions us as a market leader. So I think the challenges have changed, and now it's about let's create sustainable products rather than price pumps that maybe aren't gonna sort of give the next wave of adopters a good experience.
Yeah, very well said.
How do you leave a good taste in people's mouths, after they interact with your product? Is a big part of what we're focused on.
Yeah, very well said. I think you're doing a good job so far. Is there anything that you want to let the people know about what's ahead for Dapper Labs?
Yeah, so I mean, Dapper, the biggest thing that we're doing across NBA, NFL, Disney, getting really close into the fan experience, but we're also doing stuff that are outside the branded IP universe. So we have, our first product was CryptoKitties. We're bringing CryptoKitties back. We've just launched a new Telegram game experience. It's about 300,000-400,000 users right now. That IP, we're going to open it up so that others can also build on top of it. And we believe deeply in interchain, cross-chain collaboration, and sort of the idea that it doesn't matter where an asset lives, it can always move into different environments to sort of get access to different utility. And we want our product to always be about products, our platform to be about products that are targeting the mainstream. And so, whether it's, a lot of stuff is bridging Trump coin over to Flow to play with it in the casino, bridging NFTs from Ethereum and Solana over to Flow to collateralize them, because the sort of the base of mainstream lenders is going to be highest level. So we really think about kind of how to create experiences that are cutting across the usual silos that exist in our industry, how to grow the pie, right, and bring more people into the space. Because if we're all stealing from each other, then it's not gonna it's eventually gonna kind of lead to a bad experience or whatnot. And so the biggest thing I would say is for folks to start from the customer, work their way back to the technology, and build stuff that adds real value to real people, and that grows the pie. It sort of sounds cliche to say, but so much of it's so easy to make quick money in our space that I think everyone stays focused on, okay, how do I just get that pump, and at the end of the day, kind of it's a snake getting its own tail. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for coming here to HederaCon 2025. It's been a great fireside chat with you, Roham.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.